Hi, this is Jim Baldonado from the Home Agency. Do you really know what your insurance policy actually covers before you have a loss? At the Home Agency, there are no surprises. We make sure that you know exactly what you are getting, and we make sure that you are covered the way you want to be. Do not be surprised by your lack of coverage when it comes time to file a claim. Let us help. For a free, no-obligation plan customized for your operation, call HOME, the Home Agency that is, at 1-800-245-4241.
We're in Manhattan at the Kansas Farm Bureau annual meeting, talking now with Mary Kay Thatcher with the American Farm Bureau Federation. And Mary Kay, we're without, something to talk about when it comes to all these issues. And first and foremost, I think on the mind of producers is what's going to happen with these tax extenders. It looks like now we may have to wait a while longer.
Well, we may have to. You know, it looks like Speaker Boehner and Majority Leader Reid have come to an agreement, which is pretty amazing because they haven't agreed on a whole lot of things in the last couple of years, but to extend part of them, including Section 179 expensing, which is really important to us, wind tax credit, etc. But now President Obama is saying because they didn't include things like earned income tax credits, he's only helping the wealthy and not the poor. So he's objecting. It'll be interesting to see. You know, they'll get together in caucus in the next day or two, and maybe it'll become more clear, but it also becomes a little hazier again when you think about a lot of members unhappy with Mr. Obama about his decision on immigration. So who knows what happens in the next 10 days.
Well, let's say we don't get much done and we wait till January. In January, the landscape does change a bit. We do have, the Republicans now have both control of the House and the Senate. And one thing in particular, there's many importance. Let's start first with Ag Committee, House Ag Committee, a new chairman. What do we know about Mr. Conaway?
Well, Mr. Conaway is from a district that's probably not all that different than Mr. Lucas's in Oklahoma, but certainly he's going to be very interested in oversight of USDA and the Farm Bill. I think when Pat Roberts comes in as chairman of the Senate Ag Committee, he's likely to do the same. But that's kind of a normal scenario. You know, we're implementing the Farm Bill. We're getting close to the end, so now's the time to look at that. But both sides of the committee are going to have to spend some time. We have to reauthorize the Commodity Futures Trading Commission. We have to reauthorize grain standards, and we have to look at child nutrition. So it'll be an eventful year with probably lots and lots of hearings.
If things are going to get done, it's probably going to be this first year out of the box. Will there be a honeymoon period with the House, or will we just be right back at it before too long, kind of waiting to see what we can actually agree on?
Well, you know, I wish we'd have a year to get things done, but in reality, that window is probably more like 6 or 8 months, and after that, we're going to kick into real re-election year. You got the Iowa caucuses coming up in 13 months, so what's going to get accomplished has to happen fairly soon. I think the Republicans know that they do have to legislate, they do have to govern. That message was really clear for everyone in the elections. But the Democrats have a good chance of taking back the Senate in 2 years just because there's so many more Republicans up for election. So I think the Republicans have the message they got to legislate and make Washington work better, or they're likely to be out on their ear.
You're traveling across the country trying to give farmers, Farm Bureau members ideas on what decisions need to be made for this Farm Bill. I mean, it was one thing to get the thing passed. Now the implementation process, and now we're really within the last literally 100 days to get sign up to know something that you're going to lock into for a long time.
Probably the most amazing thing is we heard throughout the Farm Bill, oh, we want options, and now that there's options, people are saying, why'd you give us so many options? So it is a complex thing. I mean, lots of decision points. I've been told that there are 400 different ways to put this Farm Bill together as far as whether you update bases, you update yields, you take ARC County, ARC Individual, crop insurance with it. So those are a lot of options, very complex things. Hopefully farmers are out using some of these tools that USDA set aside money for and listening to their land grants and extension folks about ways to sort of take a bite at the apple.
Well, as we look at this administration, so 2 more years left, of all the people that have been able to stick around, it's been Secretary Vilsack. Are you surprised?
I'm not. I give Secretary Vilsack pretty high marks. You know, I think he has recognized not only the agriculture issues, but he's thought outside of the box, and he's talked about rural America, rural health, you know, the needs for immigration in rural America, and that's really what the president wanted him to do. And I think he's really done a fine job. You know, we all wish he could keep EPA a little more in line, but that's not really his job description. So I expect him to stay and turn out the lights.
Well, you speak of job description. I think a lot of folks in this part of the world don't think that his job description is creating a second checkoff. Is that going to bring a big challenge? Because it seems like some of those that were really pushing him to do that have now backed away.
Well, I think it is a challenge, and I think he knew it was a challenge, and it was sort of a way for him to say there wasn't a thing he could do about the 1985 Act because it was passed by Congress. And he said when he called us all together, you know, there's only one thing we all agree upon, and that is that the beef industry needs more resources. And so my only option is to do this 96 Act. I know he said in the meeting several times, if this group can still agree on ways to fix the 85 Act, great. Submit that as your comments, and I'll take it into serious consideration. I don't know for sure that that group can do it. I know we can't do it with the Farmers Union because they're no longer part of the group or discussing it. But whether the remaining 10 groups can come to an agreement, we're still working on it. We have a meeting again in a couple weeks, another one in February, so there's still a push to do it. But after 3 years, and really we did this in '06 too, so after 7 or 8 years, it's a tough job.
Well, a lot of other issues, WOTUS, waters of the U.S., big data, so on. Your work is never done. What about the waters of the U.S. situation? Administrator McCarthy, does she say when she's going to come out finally with kind of that ruling?
I would anticipate it'll be early next spring. I think that'll be probably the biggest priority for us is to get that thing stopped. And I think with the new Senate majority and with the House, you know, we're going to have to turn over 6, 7 Democrats to join them. But I think we can really work on that. We did during the last election, and I think we have a chance of just overturning it. We're going to have to do that because Gina McCarthy at EPA is not going to back off.
Mary Kay, thanks a lot.
You bet.
Mary Kay Thatcher with American Farm Bureau has joined us from Manhattan for AgView. I'm Ken Rahjes.